My special guest tonight is a Hollywood superstar, dynamic, versatile, and gold dust at the box office. Welcome, please, Mel Gibson.
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 Hey, that's me. I have a belief in something greater than me, because if I'm God, we're all in deep, deep trouble. Yeah, I won't make good decisions for you. I was on a four-wheeler in a kilt with long hair, just like...
Nice house, huh? I bet I could hit that house from here. So much. Yeah.
You are going to be fucked over at some point by people who you may have done something nice for. You can't get mad. You can't let it get you.
Fun it.
Your faith has been overly discussed by the world?
Yes, I'm overly disgusted.
There's a producer I know. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa.
I hear what women think.
Choked me in front of my son.
You're talking to the damaged here. You got me a little green. Let the games begin.
I could tell jokes and stories and make stories up and convince people of things that weren't true.
You were a liar.
Kind of, yeah. A great liar.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lying thing is something you have to try and overcome, I guess. And I try and put it into a framework where I can call it a profession now, which is...
it's called acting.
Yeah.
Trust me. Okay, trust me.
I soaked everything up like a sponge. I didn't go to my trailer. I would talk to the camera guys, the lighting guys, the sound guys. I was talking to the director. I would say, why are you doing that? What's the significance of that lens? What's it doing? You know, and it was, this was my school. Everybody just did everything. I remember hauling camera gear up to the top of a pyramid, and I was like, you know, one of the main actors in the film, but I was carrying stuff. It was a shared kind of everybody in it to win it. Yeah, I like telling stories where no one says anything. It's just wonderful to me to be able to sort of speak volumes without dialogue.
And it kind of, I guess it gets almost to a question of like kind of a religion. Mecca for filmmakers is this industry here. It's the watering hole where everyone comes to see, to measure up. It's like you go to the smorgasbord to feed your need to work and your need to tell stories and your need to express yourself.
I mean, I did a film without actors in it one time, and where people had to learn from the ground up. That film Apocalypto I did, and that was rewarding because I had to find a way to communicate to them in a very quick way where they had complete relaxation and confidence in themselves and were able to just deliver and fast. The main guy in that, I mean, he was laying roof tiles, you know, the day before. You know, he'd never done that before, but he did a great job, you know.
When I came over here, I was in my mid-20s the first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand, and nobody was really bothering to explain it to me. And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, you know, weird town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill. And it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. And then you find out later on the track that you were exactly on track, that some of your worst nightmares were real. And you think, you come in, you're off the boat from the farm, still got shit on your shoes, you're in here, people are charmed by that, but they're also stroking the shit out of you, you know, licking you all over. But it doesn't take very long before it gets to you. It's cascading on you, no matter how strong you are. You are going to be affected by this place.
1, 2, 3.
Watching someone go through the act of prostituting themselves is there's something very almost unbearable about it. There's a producer I know, successful producer, I will not mention names, but his whole opinion about women on film from beginning to end is very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead, both is better. And it's like, whoa, ooh. The man has got a spiritual malady for a start.
I was on live television one time, and Anderson Cooper sort of got it. People actually booed when the credits on your film came up at the beginning of the movie. And I'm saying, like at the beginning of the film, when my name came, yeah, they booed. And I said, the credits aren't on the beginning of the film.
You have to choose what level of integrity you're coming in at. You can't get mad. you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken, that you are going to be fucked over at some point by people who you may have done something nice for. And it may happen that by circumstance, or even very purposefully, that you fuck someone over. But that shouldn't get in the way of you being able to sit down and have fun with them. You have to still try and love those people. It's not personal. They don't really mean to hurt you.
No.
Not really.
Nothing. You understand nothing. I'll show you what you are.
Christopher Walken, first time I ever did a casting session in America, terrified me.
Me too. He came to see me on a rooftop in New York. I said, hey, can I talk to you? And he said, sure. And he floated in, sideways, through a crowd of people. He was wearing black, and it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk, but they glide. And he moved sideways, and he just sat down in a chair next to me. I just started talking about the Middle Ages, and he began to talk tortures. And we swapped tortures, because I'd read this book on torture. I tried to recall some of the most heinous things I'd ever read in this book, and he was like, oh, and he'd try and top it. I wanted to leave. And because I knew that I didn't want to work with him.
Yeah.
And he was getting scary.
I can always smell a graveyard.
I turned around to avoid his steady gaze at one point.
Yeah.
And I was looking at a building with the top of the sixes on it. So there was a huge illuminated 666 in red.
Yeah.
And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling. And I thought, oh no, Chris Walken is the Antichrist, you know?
I just kept having visions about it. What was that like 12 hours like? And what was that really like? I mean, what does it mean to get scourged and crucified? And the significance of what one single event and what one God-man has done historically and changed civilization. I mean, this is like an amazing thing.
Did you ever think it was too much?
Of course it was too much. Yes, that was the whole point of it. It was the mystery of suffering, which is the sacrificial lamb, you know. I mean, if it was easy, it isn't worth much.
Just hours ago, Mel Gibson's controversial movie, The Passion of the Christ, officially opens this morning across the country.
The newspapers, they all pig-piled on, and I was like, you know, seriously persecuted. My rights were violated in every way you can imagine, and no one seemed to give a shit. And no one would distribute it. No one. So I thought, well, you know. And I found this little distribution company with 2 guys and a dog. We sort of walked around the system here, which I think is a big sin.
Will The Passion of the Christ kill Mel Gibson's career?
And then we went out. I made handshake deals with the exhibitors, went and put it and made a killing. It was just like, went crazy.
I'd stopped worrying after the first couple of million, really.
I stopped worrying.
So Braveheart had the support, but then people kind of decided it wasn't going to happen.
I got a call from the girl doing the story in the LA Calendar section apologizing to me. I have to do a beat-up story on you. I said, you have to do a beat-up story on me? What do you mean? She says, well, the editor has told me how to write this, and I have to beat you up. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And she's like, I need a job. And I'm like, okay. I said, you do what you have to do, and it's okay, I forgive you. She, you know, had conscience about it. Which is good, I guess, but she still did it. But, you know, you get those things in the calendar, it says, this is good and this sucks, you know? Yeah. And they have pictures of 2 guys in kilts.
So when you came back to life and became not only successful, but the Oscar winner, is that redemption? Is that
Oh, total. Yeah, total.
And the Oscar goes to Mel Gibson for Braveheart.
Well, like most directors, I suppose what I really want to do is act.
He's hit the dusty trail. He's wandering out there in the wasteland still. You never know, he might trudge back in a couple of decades, but I doubt it.
You're getting paid! I'm not! Who wants to eat? Who the wants to eat? Hooray!
That's Gibson. Gibson ranting at screenwriter Joe Esterhaus last year in Mel's Costa Rica home, losing it over a failed project dubbed the Jewish Braveheart Joe's terrified son was recording.
The man has got a spiritual malady for a start.
He hit me and choked me in front of my son and then, you know, brandished the gun at me. And the very following morning, the very following day, he was already apologetic, asking for a chance for us to be together, that he will be cured, he will be treated, he will be evaluated, all those words. And I was covering up for him.
Be a woman that fucking supports me instead of a woman that sucked off me. And just fucking sucks me dry. And once. I just need a nice woman to look after my beautiful daughter. You're a pain in the ass! You're a pain in my ass! Stop being that! You're a pain in my ass. Nothing but...
Had some time off. It was the off season, you might say.
One of the things you said was the Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. Are those anti-Semitic words?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds horrible. And I'm ashamed of that. That came out of my mouth. Now, maybe it was just that very day that Lebanon and Israel were at it.
You're talking to the damaged here.
It's not the grog isn't the problem. It's up here. You know, that's the problem.
I was intemperate in my youth.
Let me be real clear here, in sobriety, sitting here in front of you, national television, that I don't believe that Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. I mean, that's an outrageous, drunken statement.
It's a play, Rust. You perform it. And what's his reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands? Organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer. As the question is, if you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge?
Some people need a big tap on the shoulder. In my case, public humiliation on a global scale seems to be what was required. I'm kind of a work in progress right now, so the risk of everything, life, limb, family, is not enough to keep you from it. That's the hell of it. You are indefensible, and people can help, yeah. But it's God. You got to go there. You got to do it.
Everyone wants that inspiration. Everyone wants to feel that. It's not really a war film, it's kind of like a love story. I mean, greater love hath no man than he laid down his life for his brothers, and Desmond did that again and again. It was ad nauseum almost. He's just an ordinary guy doing extraordinary things in extremely difficult circumstances. And man, could I be like that? Am I that evolved that I could be so selfless as to crawl into enemy fire to save another man's life? I don't think I could do that. I don't think many people could do that. But that guy did it. So maybe I could do it. I mean, we've been telling hero stories since we were squatting around a fire eating raw meat, you know, and making fecal matter paintings on the wall, sort of, you know, talking about the buffalo hunt or whatever it was. And, you know, we need those things to feed our souls.
Mel Gibson, you know you saved me too. I can't stand up for his behavior, but I can certainly stand up for the man that I love.
I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness. And I couldn't get hired, so he cast me in the lead of a movie that was actually developed for him, and he kept a roof over my head, and he kept food on the table, and most importantly, he said, that if I accepted responsibility for my wrongdoings, and if I embraced that part of my soul that was ugly, hugging the cactus, he calls it. He said that if I hugged the cactus long enough, I'd become a man of some humility, and that my life would take on a new meaning. And I did, and it worked. All he asked in return was that someday I help the next guy in some small way. It's reasonable to assume that at the time he didn't imagine the next guy would be him. So anyway, on this special occasion, I humbly ask that you join me, unless you are completely without sin, in which case you picked the wrong industry, in forgiving my friend his trespasses, offering him the same clean slate you have me, and allowing him to continue his great and ongoing contribution to our collective art without shame. He's hugged the cactus long enough.
Cut.